Hey everybody, Nick Espinosa, your chief security fanatic here, and it is Sunday, so we are doing breaches of the week. And as always, it's absolutely nuts. Breaches turned political, millions of students were exposed, Oracle had a bad week, millions of iPhone users had a bad week, and on and on and on. And so with that, I'd like to thank our ongoing sponsor, Alcohol, for getting all of us through this segment. And with that, let's dive into the breaches. And thank you very much to Jacqueline Wolf, Hank Hopsuch, Monica Stevens, and Don Albanese for sending in a good chunk of this information. And let's start with NYU. And my preamble that cybersecurity is agnostic to politics, but we're definitely not immune from it. And here we go, because an attacker took over NYU's website for about 2 hours, basically this past Saturday morning, to expose over 3 million applicant names, test scores, majors, zip codes, as well as information related to family members and financial aid dating back to at least 1989. Now, the university's website was restored around noon, and the hack page displayed 3 charts with what the group claims to be NYU's average admitted SAT scores, ACT scores, and GPAs for the 2024 and 2025 admissions cycle. The group basically argued that the Supreme Court's takedown of affirmative action in 2023, even though basically the Supreme Court killed that, quote unquote, NYU continued anyway. And so they basically showed in this data, assuming the data is correct, that the average admitted test scores and GPAs for both Asian and white applicants were higher than those who identify as Hispanic or Black. Now, this page, and again, I don't know if that data is real. Again, the page was first reported by a user on Reddit around 10:30 a.m. that day, and included 4 accessible CSV files revealing NYU's admission data since at least 1989, including over 3 million admitted students' applications, demographic data, city, zip code, citizen status, all that kind of stuff. Also, common application data was hit, including financial aid, rejected members, how many students applied for early decision, personal information about siblings and parents, and more. So heads up to you if you went to NYU. Your data may be out there. And again, I have no analysis or whatsoever, or NYU, and for the record, NYU has not confirmed that the data was indeed accurate. So take that for what it's worth. Again, politics, we're not immune from it. So with that, let's talk about Oracle, because Oracle denied that it was breached after a threat actor claimed to be selling 6 million data records allegedly stolen from Oracle Cloud's federated SSO login servers. Oracle is denying this, but a threat actor calling themselves Rose 87168 released multiple text files the other day containing sample databases, LDAP or Lightweight Directory Access Protocol, think like Active Directory, etc. That kind of information, a list of companies that they claimed they had stolen from Oracle's SSO platform, and as further proof, they shared it with Bleeping Computer, the publication, an Internet Archive URL that indicated they uploaded a text file containing their Proton Mail account, basically to the login.us2.oraclecloud.com server. So Oracle denies, they provide evidence otherwise. We'll see what happens. Moving on. Telecom giant out of Europe, Orange, which we'll be talking about twice this week, they reportedly have been hit by a ransomware attack by the criminal organization Babuk, basically, who posted sample data on their website and is claiming proof of successful breach. For the record, this is the second ransomware attack that is being reported on Ransom in recent days, but Orange has claimed these are not 2 separate attacks. They claim to have been broken into on Sunday, March 16th, stealing, quote, all information related to Orange.com and Orange.ro from Romania. And we'll see what happens, because Orange is saying it's not 2 hits. It's just one big, long hit. And again, lots of speculation out there this week. Moving on, let's head on over to China and talk about one of their giants, Baidu, because they have denied any data breach following an internal investigation into an incident involving the daughter of their vice president, Shi Guangjun, who basically was found sharing private information online. Now, the company's head of security addressed this issue on its internal network, stating that no signs of a data leak from Baidu had occurred, and assured that no employees, including Xi, had direct access to Baidu's user databases. Now, here's why this erupted. Xi's 13-year-old daughter, who resides in Canada, not China, was discovered exposing people's private information online, and she had claimed that she'd basically obtained this information from her Baidu vice president father. So this fueled speculation that Baidu's internal data was being leaked by employees, and here we are. And again, we'll see what happens. And we'll also see what happens with collectibles.com. So heads up to you collectors, because apparently they've been leaking sensitive information on hundreds of thousands of you, exposing you to a whole bunch of different types of fraud, etc. So this is according to the research team from Cybernews, who recently discovered a non-password protected Elasticsearch instance. Password protect your stuff, people. And so they found a 300 gigabyte cluster of valuable user data, accounting for more than 870,000 records, each representing a different person. And so obviously that, again, identity theft, fraud, etc. Here we go. So heads up to you if you use collectible.com. Moving on, the Pennsylvania State Education Association, or PSEA, PC? Let's just call them PC. Anyway, they're the largest public sector union in the state of Pennsylvania, and they experienced a security incident on or about July 6th of last year that impacted their network environment. And that's according to letters they sent to 517,487 individuals. All the personal and financial information and health data that you would think of that a labor union would collect is there. Payment card information as well, social securities, insurance information, and on and on and on. So heads up if you are a member of PC, the Pennsylvania State Education Association. Moving on, a quick update on the Clio file transfer software breach. Companies continue to basically disclose. And this past week was Western Alliance Bank for 21,899 individuals that use Western Alliance Bank. And we're talking financial account information, driver's license, birth dates, all that kind of stuff as well. Moving on, California Cryobank heads up all you sperm donors on the West Coast. They are one of the largest, for the record, sperm banks in the United States. And they just suffered a cyber attack, which basically lost their sensitive customer data. So there you go. Cryobank confirmed the news in a filing with Maine, as well as in a data breach notification letter that it sent out to the individuals. In that letter, they said suspicious activity on their network was found on April 21 of last year. I can't speak this week, and isolated potentially affected devices from the network. Bank account information, routing number, social security, driver's license, payment card numbers, and or health insurance information basically was impacted. They didn't say how many were infected. It is unclear, for the record, if donor information such as donor IDs were stolen as well. So when somebody donates a sperm to the bank, you get an ID number, and so your identity remains hidden until the child turns 18 and possibly wants to learn more about their biological father. And so that could be a massive privacy issue for donors. So if you're making deposits at California Cryobank, heads up to you. Moving on, let's head back to China and talk about Jingdong. This is actually China's largest retailer, known as JD.com, and they're often compared to Amazon in size. Now, they appeared also on Babuk Ransomware's dark web forum. They say they've stolen over 11 gigabyte of company data, customer names, usernames, passwords, email addresses, QQ numbers, which is like a Chinese messaging platform, and ID cards have been stolen. So if you use JD.com for all your Amazon competitive needs, heads up to you. Moving on. Let's head on over to the United Kingdom and talk about Lloyds Bank. In December, basically a customer of the UK bank, Lloyds Banking Group, received a package sent via first-class post. Now, it contained detailed information about this person's portfolio and about a dozen other portfolios for other Lloyd customers. So after receiving the package, the customer lodged a complaint with the bank about the data breach to the ICO, Information Commissioner's Office in the UK, and here we go. And according to the Financial Times, Lloyds Banking Group issued an apology and blamed human error. Somebody looks like they stuffed an envelope a little too much, and that does happen. Nevertheless, that is a data breach, and Lloyds will be paying out. I think they're insured. Moving on, SpyX stalkerware heads up all you iPhone people. According to TechCrunch, the June 2024 breach remained unreported until just this past week. There's also no indication that SpyX operators ever notified affected customers on their spyware targets. And what's even scarier than all of that is because SpyX is the 25th mobile surveillance operation since 2017 to experience a data breach. So SpyX, basically, you want to spy on your ex, you want to spy on your kids, you want to spy on your spouse, you can put this into an iPhone. Now, if that doesn't put you off basically from downloading these things, I have no idea what will. And security researcher Troy Hunt, Have I Been Pwned, basically confirmed the leak. He spotted 2 text files containing 1.97 million unique accounts and all of that. And so that's all tied basically back to SpyX. And so according to Hunt, about 40% of the leaked email addresses were already on Have I Been Pwned, and he later confirmed this. And Google has now removed the Chrome extension linked to SpyX, and it's obviously being taken down elsewhere as well. Moving on, let's head on over to Pakistan and talk about their Federal Investigation Agency, specifically their cybercrime division out of Islamabad. So, a man accused of a serious data leak and running an anti-state campaign on social media has been arrested. I am translating this for the record into English from an article from Pakistan. So, according to FIA officials, the suspect was only identified as Nawaz, and apparently, I'm assuming he gained illegal access to the immigration and passport database of Pakistan. Now, he reportedly extracted private data of common citizens and senior government officials as well. Nawaz is charged with leaking personal information, such as passport details, photographs, and more on various social media platforms. Investigators said Nawaz used his X, aka Twitter account, to share sensitive government data, and his online activity was aimed at spreading fear and creating panic among the public, according to Pakistani authorities. And so, the authorities also believe that this data leak posed a serious threat to Pakistan's national security and digital privacy. And yeah, if you're doxing, national leaders, that's a problem. I don't care where you live. So with that, good luck, Pakistan. Moving on, let's do our mini segment simply entitled, If You Just Spent Money on Cybersecurity, You Wouldn't Be Getting Sued, You Wouldn't Be Losing Your Reputation, and we sure as heck wouldn't be talking about you right now. And with that, let's talk about National Student Clearinghouse, because they just agreed to shell out $9.95 million, just couldn't round it up to 10, guys. Anyway, their $9.95 million class action lawsuit settlement to resolve claims from their MOVEit breach, that's right, back in 2023, and if you need to file a claim, you've got until May 26th of this year to get that done. Go get paid. Moving on, legacy professionals in the state of Illinois. Several class action lawsuits have already been filed against the accountancy firm, and one of those was filed in the U.S. District Court for the Northern District of Illinois Eastern Division on behalf of plaintiff Greg Johnson and other individuals. And obviously the lawsuit claims that inadequate security controls, et cetera, from legacy professionals failed to take proper warnings and notifications under HIPAA breach notification laws and all of that. Either way, it's a bad week for the Illinois accounting firm. Moving on, I don't have any more information on them, so we are moving on. Anyway, Infosys McCamish Systems, they basically now have a settlement for multiple class actions that were basically combined into their 2023 ransomware attack that basically impacted 6 million individuals. They are shelling out $17.5 million as a result. I don't have more information, but I'll keep you up to date here. And that's it. Those are getting sued this week, and if they just paid for cybersecurity, we wouldn't be talking about them. Moving on, Nopsey Hotel in Nolens. Anyway, a former customer at the Nopsey Hotel believes he fell victim to a data breach. Now, this man lives in Washington, D.C., talking to the local Fox News affiliate that he received alert from his credit card company flagging basically a $200 charge from Nopsey Hotel. The general manager at Nopsey declined to comment, but hotel staff acknowledged they have received lots of calls about questionable charges. Now, the man who contacted the local Fox affiliate in D.C. said that the last time he visited a Nopsey Hotel was 2 years ago when he went to the hotel restaurant. In other words, maybe their point of sale system got hit. We'll see. And he said his credit card company told him that his card number was manually keyed in rather than swiped. So we'll see what happens. Maybe somebody's copying. But either way, Nopsey Hotel in the hot seat. Moving on, several Atlas Healthcare Group facilities on March 3rd, they filed with Health and Human Services after discovering an unauthorized party in their network. The usual stuff, names, address, dates of birth, social security, medical information, health insurance information, driver's license information, financial information, and on and on. Atlas Healthcare began sending out notifications as well. Moving on, College Hospital of Costa Mesa, they basically announced a forensic investigation last week into a data breach last year, which divulged key pieces of information on patients and the medical centers as well. But basically, the impacted were notified that a threat actor had accessed files between August 14th through September 17th and may have obtained personal patient data, names, diagnosis, dates of birth, and social security numbers as well. So heads up to you if you use College Hospital Costa Mesa. Moving on, Ortho Minds LLC, they filed with California after discovering an unauthorized party getting into their network. And we are talking names, social security numbers, dates of birth, medical information, health insurance information, and payment card information as well. Ortho Minds is sending out info also. And finally, and we have 2 finalists for you this week. These are going to be big ones. The first one we're going to be talking about is Jira. That's like the corporate intelligence platform that a lot of companies use for collaboration, et cetera, and I think this is going to be a big one in 2025 because the Hellcat hacking group apparently has been on a spree compromising a whole bunch of unpatched Jira Cloud instances, and so just patch your stuff, people. Especially if it's public facing. You've got employees all over the place and they're logging into cloud instances. You got to keep this stuff updated, and this is what we know thus far. The new. So Swiss global solution provider Ascom basically has subsidiaries in 18 countries, focusing on wireless on-site communications, has now been hit and declaring. They basically have claimed 44 gigabytes of data has been stolen, which may impact all of the company's divisions. On top of that, we have British multinational car maker Jaguar Land Rover, and basically essentially they had stolen about 700 internal documents and leaked as well. So if you want to know all about your Jag or your Land Rover, there you go. Moving on, previously reported for the record for this Jira instances are Schneider Electric, yes, the electric people, the battery backup people, et cetera, Telefonica, and Orange Group. Told you they'd be back, and here we are. So we'll see what happens, but please, if you have public-facing cloud infrastructure, for the love of God, patch it for security. So important. And finally, and I will say my preamble once again, cybersecurity is agnostic to politics, but we're not immune from it. So we have to talk about Tesla. Now, a website calling themselves DogeQuest has ignited a major privacy concern after allegedly leaking personal information of Tesla owners across the U.S. Now, the site basically appearing amid an anti-Elon Musk protest spree, all of that. We are talking about display names, addresses, and phone numbers of Tesla drivers on an interactive map. Now, what's even more troubling is that the mouse over, like the cursor, they changed it from a standard mouse to a Molotov cocktail, which obviously could indicate that they are calling for vandalism. Now, the controversy has obviously raised questions about data security, online activism, and the risks that Tesla owners may now face. So, the question then becomes, what is DogeQuest and why is it controversial? So essentially, as I mentioned before, it's a website, but let's dive into that a little more because it's an anonymous website that claims to promote, quote, creative expressions of protest. However, it does so by exposing, as I mentioned, the private info of Tesla owners, dealerships, and employees of the government agency Doge linked to Elon Musk, owner of Tesla, as well as SpaceX and a whole bunch of other stuff. So the site, as basically first reported by 404 Media, presents a searchable database of Tesla drivers and their alleged locations through, basically through this site where it's essentially point and go. Some of the data remains unverified, though, and so we'll see what happens there. Now, the website operators have justified their actions by stating that Tesla owners can have their information removed if they provide proof of selling their vehicle. In other words, you dish your Tesla in some way, shape, or form. You donate to charity, you sell it on cars.com, whatever. Basically, if you can prove it, they'll take you down. Now, this condition has obviously sparked outrage, with critics labeling it as basically a form of digital blackmail. And yeah, I think that's an accurate description of that. So, how did DogeQuest gain attention? Now, reports basically of their existence began circulating around March 17th, coinciding with the escalating anti-Tesla sentiment. If you recall, we've seen Tesla dealerships burned, we've seen cars vandalized and defaced, or like swastikas, basically painted on them, those kinds of things. So, shortly after March 17, a series of arson and vandalism incidents targeting Tesla properties nationwide basically added concerns that the website might be fueling real-world attacks. In other words, they just gave the people that wouldn't mind burning things down a roadmap and where to go and how to find them. So, One of the most alarming incidents thus far occurred in Las Vegas, Nevada, where a masked individual used Molotov cocktails to set 5 Tesla vehicles ablaze at a service center. The word resist was spray painted on the facility's door, further signaling it was a politically motivated act. Another attack in Kansas City obviously saw 2 Cybertrucks torched, while in South Carolina, an arsonist attempted to destroy a Tesla charging station and he accidentally set himself on fire. So, is DogeQuest linked to these Tesla attacks? That's the logical thing, right? They're building the roadmap. Authorities, including the FBI, are now investigating these incidents as possible acts of domestic terrorism. However, no direct evidence links DogeQuest to these crimes at the time that I am speaking to you on March 23rd, and so we will see. Now, while the site provides a platform for anti-Tesla sentiment, whether it actively encourages violent action formally remains unclear. That said, Tesla's CEO, Elon Musk, has publicly condemned the website, calling it, quote, extreme domestic terrorism. So there you go. Take that for what it's worth. So how are Tesla owners reacting to this? It's really unsettling. And I mean, I quite frankly think it would be a troubling time to own a Tesla right now. I'm not getting political with this. I don't care if you love or hate Elon Musk or Trump or hate him or, whatever. The point is that you're being targeted by a segment of the population that is not going to like you right out of the gate for owning one of these vehicles. And that's got to be really troubling when you just want to go about your day in peace. Like, not every Tesla owner is going to be a big Trump fan. Not every Tesla owner is going to be a big Trump hater. They're going to be somewhere in between. And the vast majority of Teslas on the road were purchased well before all of this mess started happening, right? So here we go. Many, obviously, of these Tesla owners are now worried essentially about their personal safety. They could be targeted by simply owning these vehicles. And obviously, doxing, exposing personal information online can have a whole bunch of severe consequences, as I mentioned before: identity theft, fraud, not to mention, in this case, potential targeting over politics. And so here we are. Now, some of those affected individuals have reported leaked to the authority and are taking steps to protect their personal data. So if you own a Tesla, I don't care what your politics are, I don't think that this is a good thing in the long run. And basically, as a privacy advocate, I believe everybody needs privacy regardless of what you believe politically. And so by virtue of that, I am not a fan of this, nor am I a fan of acts of violence against individuals or property, as well as a form of political protest. So that's pretty much all I have to say on that, beyond the fact that I just hope, we can lower the temperature just indefinitely, and I just don't see that happening anytime soon. So just please be vigilant, Tesla owners. Again, whatever you believe politically, we all deserve safety, we all deserve security, and quite frankly, I think we all deserve our property intact. So best of luck to all of us, but those were your breaches of the week. Were you affected? Let me know. And please like, share, follow me here on Facebook and Twitter at NickAESP, and please feel free to subscribe to me at YouTube as well. And as always, stay safe, stay online, and please, please, please attempt to stay private and informed. Take care.